by various Kenyans in accessing healthcare services through the new scheme. This is a scheme that has been heavily defended by the head of state, and most recently on Sunday in a church service in Quisero constituency, Kakamega County, the commander-in-chief said, of course, there are challenges. We acknowledge that indeed there are challenges, but this particular scheme is a scheme that is going to ensure all Kenyans can access health services across the country. Before I talk more about that, welcome to the New Dawn. Remember, this is a show that you can watch live across our social media platforms at K24 TV. And this particular morning, I'd want to hear from you. I'd like to hear from you in regards to the transition from NHIF to the Social Health Insurance Fund or the Social Health Authority. How has it been for you? Have you been able to access health services? If at all you know someone, or you are battling a chronic illness, or someone you know is battling a chronic illness, how has it been for them? Have they been able to access the services that they need, be it chemotherapy, be it radiotherapy, be it dialysis, through the new scheme? Remember, we've had stories of patients being forced to pay in cash to access services such as dialysis, which costs around 11,000 per session, especially those who were, of course, getting these services at private facilities. Now, what is the state of that? What is the government doing to ensure that Kenyans can get all these services under the new scheme? Remember as well, there's been the issue of debts, pending bills accrued through the National Hospital Insurance Fund. Those are debts accruing to around 30 billion Kenya shillings. The Ministry of Health, according to PS for Medical Services, that is Dr. Harry Kimtai, the government, late last month released 9 billion shillings to settle part of that debt, and he committed, saying that the government is committed to ensuring that they do indeed clear that particular debt, because that is one of contention in the rollout of this new scheme, because several health facilities do want those pending bills cleared before the rollout of this particular health scheme. Now, even as we talk matters health, in the field of politics, we saw what happened yesterday with Kithure Kindiki, the new deputy president, taking over reins of power as the second most powerful member of the ruling party, that is the United Democratic Alliance, at the Hustler Plaza. Kindiki vowing to ensure or prioritize the unity of not only the party, but also the country at large. Remember as well, this is the third week, or the second week, into the the national examinations, from 4 national examinations that continue countrywide. And like I said yesterday, this comes amid a reported high number of pregnancies among candidates sitting for those examinations. We'll be looking at all that, and including what is making headlines in the local dailies this particular morning. So I beg that you do stay with us to the very end of this show, just to get to understand more what is happening, what is the state of affairs in the health sector across the country. But as of now, I just want us to have a look at what is making headlines in the news this particular morning. And we begin with matters education, and 3 candidates turned murder suspects involved in the killing of their fellow candidate at China's Boys in Nakuru sat for their KCSE exams under police surveillance. This comes even as 2 more suspects of exam malpractices were arrested in Nyamina Secondary School for photocopying answers of mathematics paper 2 in a bid to tighten the fight against exam malpractices. Education CS Julius Migos Ogamba has a further vowed to shut down exam centers involved with malpractices.
As the KCSE exams enter day 6, the Ministry of Education has been up and running to ensure malpractices and criminal activities remain a thing of the past. More cases continue to be reported. Today, however, 3 candidates turned suspects who are alleged to have assaulted and killed their fellow candidate at China's Boys in Nakuru County sat the exams under police custody. While overseeing the release of KCSE exams, Education PS Belia Kipsang and area county commissioner are awaiting their arraignment in court upon the completion of the exams.
I'm informed by the county commissioner that they have been able to adequately deal with the issue, and they have narrowed down on all the issues that they needed to deal with, and that all is being handled.
However much we've arrested them, we also make sure that they do their exams also as the legal system takes its place. But we want to assure everybody that is unfortunate that we are losing life in our schools.
Meanwhile, Education CS Julius Migos also took a jab at those engaging in malpractices, vowing to go hard on exam centers found engaging in malpractices. This comes as 13 people, including 2 invigilators in Yamina Secondary, were arrested for photocopying answers for candidates for Mathematics Paper 2.
The Instagram team that was going on doing all sorts of things, they were arrested yesterday. They are going to be arraigned today. And we've asked the judiciary to assist us to ensure that prosecution is swift and fast so that people face the music. In the event that we find those private centers are open to, manipulation or malpractice, one of the things that we'll do is recommend that they be closed going forward. Because there is no point to have a little team or a small group of people giving a bad name to the whole country, to the whole examination that we are doing.
Elsewhere, Education PS Belio Kipsang has also assured parents of the government's efforts to ensure grade 9 classrooms are in place before next year. Kipsang, while overseeing the launch of new JSS classrooms in Kiambu County, says the classroom shortage will be sorted, with 11,000 classrooms already confirmed to have been constructed. Melia Kisienya, K24 TV.
Now, you will pay more for online food delivery and digital taxis following the government's pronouncement on its intent to broaden the tax base in the food and digital service platforms. As Bentura Komboka now tells us, all this aimed at improving the government's fiscal framework.
In response to the current economic landscape and the need for sustainable public finance after the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, the National Treasury is proposing significant amendment that seeks to address growing fiscal deficit to ensure efficient revenue collection. And as the Treasury seeks to broaden its tax base through Tax Laws Amendment Bill 2024 and the Tax Procedure Amendment Bill 2024, the government is proposing collecting more revenue from taxing digital platforms and taxation of interest income accruing from infrastructure bonds.
Watu ambao wanafanya biashara kupitia online digital marketing na pia wako na digital presence kubwa zaidi kama multinationals wanalipa 15% na 6% mtawalia kama kodi.
Government spokesperson Isaac Maura now says they aim to expand the digital tax base on ride-hailing and food delivery services to ensure digital service providers fairly contribute to the economy, a move that is expected to hike the cost of food and travel expenses.
When it comes to digital economic growth, digital marketplace expansion, the proposed laws seek to expand the digital tax base, including services like ride-hailing, food delivery, freelance, and professional services under the definition of a digital marketplace. This move is essential in ensuring that digital service providers fairly contribute to the economy.
Further, more taxes will be levied on income derived from services provided by non-resident entities operating in Kenya's digital marketplace.
Also, the significant economic presence tax, for foreigners, a tax will be levied on income derived from services provided by non-resident entities operating in Kenya's digital marketplace. This ensures that foreign digital businesses contribute at fair rates and aligns Kenya's tax system with global best practices.
Bentura Komboka for K24 TV, Nairobi.
To matters politics, and ousted Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been dealt his last and final blow after being kicked out as the ruling party's deputy party leader. This follows a resolution by the party's National Executive Council that designated DP Kithure Kindiki as the new deputy party leader.
I, Kithure Kindiki.
Just 10 days after assuming the office of the deputy president, taking over from impeached DP Rigathi Gachagua, Professor Kithure Kindiki has yet again taken over Gachagwa's second office at the Hustler Plaza. This follows the resolution of the party's National Executive Council that deemed Gachagua as unable to perform the duties of the deputy party leader after being impeached.
The National Executive Committee now resolves to designate His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, EGH, as the deputy party leader. Speaking after formally taking over reins of power as the party's second most powerful member, DP Kithure Kindiki was quick to note that he was coming in at a time when the country was at crossroads, however, vowing to prioritize not only unity within the party but also the country at large.
I am taking over this role in a very, very defining moment in the life of our nation. At a time when the country is engaged in, or has been engaged in the recent weeks and months, in conversations about identity and who we are as a country. The unity of Kenya is not inimical. It doesn't work counter to the interests of the segments that constitute Kenya. But those ideas of the various segments which constitute our party must converge so that we pursue the broader ideas that our party believes in.
With his predecessor being ousted on grounds of disloyalty to the party and not articulating the government agenda, being the principal assistant to the head of state, Kindiki promised to help his boss deliver on the Kenya Kwanza plan and ensure Kenyans from all walks of life get the services they deserve.
I will work with all the organs established under our party constitution for the good and for the better and optimal performance of our party as expected of us by the people of Kenya.
With other political parties kickstarting their registration drive ahead of the 2027 general election, the DP highlighted the need to recruit more members to the party.
We need to register more members, and therefore I'm going to be part of the drive that is ongoing and try to put our minds together with the party officials, the party leader, so that we can increase our numbers, the membership numbers.
His installation as deputy party leader comes after the Senate voted on 17th of October to uphold the National Assembly's decision to oust Gachagua.
Be your notebook for all our meetings.
In Kitani, K24 TV, Nairobi. To the corridors of justice, and lawyers challenging the controversial acquisition of JKIA by India's Adani company were dealt a blow after the court adjourned the case to the 27th of this month. The case filed by Law Society of Kenya challenging the move to hand over the running of JKIA to Adani for 30 years will be heard on December. Lawyers representing aviation workers led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa urged the government to drop the deal, saying Kenya is capable of expanding JKIA on its own, as Electine Odera tells us.
Another day in court as lawyers challenging the controversial acquisition of JKIA by Indian company Adani brimmed with expectations for their hearing to commence. However, their hopes were dashed after the court postponed the case to 28th of this month as the judge handling the case was unavailable.
As workers, we remain opposed to the intention of giving out JKIA to Adani.
The Law Society of Kenya had filed a petition September this year to oppose the lease of JKIA to Adani for the next 30 years, arguing that Kenya could raise $1.85 billion to develop the airport, a petition that the court granted. On the other side, JKIA employees also want the plan to sell JKIA to the company halted for fear of losing their jobs.
We are more than convinced that Kenya Airports Authority is financially able to fund its own expansion and modernization.
Led by their lawyers Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa, They urged the government not to hand over the airport to the company, as JKA is capable of running its own operations.
We are dealing with a critical infrastructure which touches on the national security and the well-being of a nation state called Kenya. We have said before we have no problem with the investors coming to the country, but the way this Adani deal has been crafted, it has all the trappings of what one would call a state capture.
We want to tell this Kenya Kwisha government that if actually they are going to give this Adani everything, for Adani to control our airways in terms of taking JKIA International Airport, for Adani to control our energy sector by taking over Ketraco, for Adani to control our healthcare systems. Imagine if what has happened in Bangladesh happens in Kenya. One individual called Adani switches off power. The entire country is in darkness.
In September this year, LSK, together with the Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC, went to court to oppose government's move, arguing that Kenya could independently raise the $1.85 billion required to upgrade the airport in the capital of Nairobi. LSK also argues that the move violated good governance and transparency principles for a valuable national asset. The LSK case will be heard on December this year. Electing Order, K24 TV.
Now, the prime suspect in the Sodomi case against Bruce Hajira, a Mombasa-based blogger, has been arraigned at Shanzu Court. Now, Omar Mohammed was arrested at the border point in Lunga Lunga as he was crossing the country from Tanzania on Thursday evening last week. Frederick Kai with that story.
Prime suspect Omar Mohammed has pleaded not guilty on 4 accounts of planning to cause felony, kidnapping, assault and gang rape of Bruce Kajira. Lead prosecutor Nazareth Mazurui asked Resident Magistrate Robert Mbogo not to release the accused on bond, owing to the nature of arrest, having been arrested at the border point of Lunga Lunga between Kenya and Tanzania.
While my senior in his replying affidavit indicates that the said accused person was not fleeing the country but was re-entering the same, Your Honor, the issue is that the fact that the accused person had either sought to exit or enter Tanzania is not disputed. Your Honor, on this, we also base our application on the fact that this has confirmed, Your Honor, that the accused is simply a flight risk.
Mazurui further noted that Omar has been linked to the barbaric incidents of blogger Bruce.
Considering the nature and the offense that the accused is charged with, we find that this might give an incentive, Your Honor, to the accused to abscond the jurisdiction of this court.
Omar's lawyer Chacha Mwita asked the magistrate to release his client on bond or cash bail, since the High Court has already pronounced itself on the case.
Going as per the pecking order, this Honorable Court already has guidance from the High Court specifically to this particular case that touches on Mr. Bruce.
Mwita affirmed that his client was not a flight risk since on his arrest, he was entering the country from Tanzania.
Your Honor, the accused person has also deponed in his replying affidavit that he left the country for Tanzania on the 9th of October to pursue some business engagements and to also visit some relatives. Your Honor, that was through legal means.
Resident Magistrate Robert Mbogo says he will give his ruling on Friday this week on whether the suspect will be released on bond or otherwise, and also if the case will be consolidated with the previous one. The magistrate ordered the suspect to be removed from Atewa prison. Frederick Kai, K24, Mombasa.
Shifting gears to matters education now, and learning activities at the embattled Moi University in Uasin Gishu County did not resume as planned yesterday after the university management failed to reach an agreement with the striking workers. On Friday, visiting Parliamentary Committee on Education, had instructed the warring parties in the standoff to hold a crisis meeting and reach an agreement in 48 hours. As Timothy Simon now reports, Workers' Union remain adamant that they will not back down until their demands are met, while accusing the university management for lack of goodwill.
After over 2 months of striking, Moi University had announced the resumption of learning and other activities today. But that would not be after the management, led by Professor Isaac Kosgei, failed to reach an agreement with workers' unions as advised by the Parliamentary Committee on Education. The committee had given a 48-hour ultimatum for warring parties to agree, but 3 days later, there is no reason to believe an agreement will be reached anytime soon.
The parliamentary session had a totally different agenda. So it is not possible that the parliamentary committee could have ordered us to go to class.
WASU Secretary General Moi University Chapter Dr. Busolo Wekesa claims the management is insincere in their engagement with the workers.
We told them that these colleagues of ours that they required us to talk to are insincere. They are insensitive, and also they are very punitive. And we told them it is not possible to negotiate with somebody who is holding a gun.
Despite the Julius Meli-led committee's directive, the workers regard the management of Moi as a hostile employer, hell-bent on intimidating and frustrating them.
The Parliamentary Committee and the PS for Education had hardly left Moi University when these people started issuing us with memos. We can confirm that as of this morning, we have about 20 memos coming repeatedly. We also have court orders. How do you negotiate with somebody with a court order over your head?
As the impasse persists alongside another national WASU strike that has grounded higher education learning across the country, it's not clear when Moi will resume normalcy amid students' agony.
As of now, we have no agreement, we have no discussion going on, and therefore we are on strike. Please take it from us, there is no teaching that is going on in Moi University.
Timothy Simon, K24 TV.
It is very shameful and very, very concerning that such a prestigious and an iconic facility is on its knees. Now, a political battle is simmering in Jubaland, Somalia, as they prepare for elections. This is after presidential candidate Abdullahi Ali rejected Saturday night announcement by President Ahmed Madobe to establish an electoral commission in Jubaland. This comes hours after Somalia's federal government condemned the appointment of the regional election committee by the Jubaland leader.
The committee that has been selected, we don't believe the former president have a mandate to constitute an electoral commission without the approval and the consultation of the opposition. On the other hand, we also understand that he has been in disagreement with the federal government on the one person, one vote process. That negotiation, I believe, is stalled at this point. But understanding that he has been asking that the local, regional states and the people of Jubaland independently run their affairs, it seems that what he was